Hey, what's going on out there in IE Network land? And you know what time it is? When it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or so, it is now time for the Anything Goes. Well, not really anything goes, but you know what I'm saying. It is now time for the Benchwarmers podcast here exclusively on the IE Network, right here on YouTube. Hello. Welcome all, welcome all. Long time no speak to or hear from. Shout out everybody out there that's listening and watching, including Heaven Hollywood and his partner in crime and brother Wes Clark. Thank you and for once again making this possible. And before I get started here, you could like, comment, and subscribe this lovely program and this channel, the IE Network. Please like, comment, subscribe, and spread the word. Let everybody know about this wonderful channel, not just my show, but Real Talk and the Heaven Hollywood Experience, Block TV, etc. Like the King and I, what's his name? I can't believe about Yul Brenner and the King and I, etc. And also, you could do a little donation here to the channel here on the chit chat thing. I forgot the name of it on here. Do a little donation on here, and also on the Cash App. It's mine's is Jimmy Ace Cash. Heaven Hollywood's is Heaven Hollywood. I don't think Wes has one for what I know, but I know the IE Network has one. I think it's IE Network. I think. If Wes is on, he could let you all know about that, or at least he could tap into me to let me know if that's what it's called. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. You want to make a donation, donate it on here on this channel or to the Cash App. Me, Jimmy Ace 70. Jimmy Ace Cash, CASH. Jimmy Ace Cash. Heaven Hollywood is the Cash App for Heaven Hollywood, and IE Network, I think, for Cash App. I don't know if it's the IE Network or IE Network, but look it up. So anywho, let's see. Last time I was on here, I was talking about the Yankees. Then what's been going on with them. But first off, there was a trading deadline that happened a week ago from this past Friday afternoon. The deadline was 4 p.m. last Friday. Yankees made a couple of moves. One of them I was like, about. The other one I was a little more excited about. The first one was with Joey Gallo. He was one that the Yankees got. He's I know he's a Gold Glove, and I think he made the All-Star team a few times. He's from the Texas Rangers. Yankees didn't give up top 10 prospects to get this guy, but he's a great fielder in the outfield. He could play all the positions in the outfield, and I think he could play some in the infield too. But they're gonna mostly use him in the left field. They got him, for, like I said, it didn't hurt the farm system to get him. But he's almost one of these all or nothing type of hitters, like the Yankees have been having on their team, except he's left-handed, which is really needed desperately. But the other trade they did before the deadline was they got Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs. And that was what got my attention span, was Anthony Rizzo, because he is a 4-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time All-Star, and of course he was on the championship team of the Chicago Cubs that broke the 108-year drought. And he's definitely, what I like about him, not only he hits the ball all over the field and he can hit the ball out, but he's a great fielder, and he's a great clubhouse presence, and he's a leader, unlike the guys they have on their team. And don't tell me that Aaron Judge is a leader, because he's not. He's not a leader. I'm sorry. He's not a leader. He leads something else. He leads in getting on the disabled list, but he doesn't, or striking out a ton, but he's not a leader among men. I don't care what anybody tells me. And of course, there'll be people that be like, well, you're not a real Yankee fan if you're saying these things. No, I'm a realist. That's the difference. I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but I'm a realist. I'm not just going to be an apologist to people, just because they're on my team, or, well, they're not going to get real straight up criticism. But if they're not on my team, then I can be honest. No, I'm honest about everybody. I don't care if they're on my team, not on my team. I like them or if I don't like them. I'm gonna give you the cold hard facts and how I feel. I don't play favorites on here. You know, of course, there's people I like, but also those people I like, I criticize too if they deserve it, and I give them praise when they deserve it. Same thing if people I don't like. If there's people I don't like, and if they deserve credit for something, I want to give them credit. I'm not going to just hold it off because I don't like the guy. I mean, one of those big examples is LeBron James. I don't care for LeBron James, but I want to give the guy credit when it's due. You know, that's how I do it. When he deserves criticism, of course I'm going to give it to him just like I would do anybody else. I don't play favorites on here. And you know, if that was the case, I wouldn't be on this network. Trust me, because Heaven don't play that. He's not that way either, just like me, and Wes is not like that either. He tells you straight up how he feels too on his show. So that's what we're all about on here. We're about, you know, giving honest, dependable, you know, straight up, you know, facts and thoughts. You know, we're just not going to sugarcoat or hold something back because, oh, they're our faves. That's not how it goes here. But anyway, a little sidetracked as usual. Getting back to what I was saying about Anthony Rizzo, he's definitely somebody that I really, really like. And right away, he made an impact this weekend in Miami. He had 2 home runs. He drove in, he scored like 6 runs himself, you know, basically, you know, him being drove in, whatever. 6 runs scored. He had big clutching plays on the field, 3-6-3 double play, catching a guy off first base, thanks to the great throw by Gary Sanchez. He looked like he woke up out of his coma for that one particular moment in time. And yeah, so I just love how Anthony Rizzo brings to the table. So that I like. But the thing I noticed, which is a continuous span with this team, and you can go back to any time on my shows. It doesn't matter if it's this month, which we're now August, which is crazy to think about. Whether it's August, whether it's July, June, May or April, I've been saying the same thing, and it's been legit. The Yankees take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back. It's just been their MO this year all season long. It's just facts. Straight up facts. And it's frustrating. It really is. I mean, the last time we met you, they were up to facing that week 2 weeks ago against the Red Sox. They lost 3 out of 4. Easily, they could have been swept. And at the same time, they could have easily took 3 out of 4 themselves. But of course, the Yankees getting out of the way. They blow leads left and right. It's either they don't hit and, the pitching's good, or the pitch is good and the hitting sucks. For the most part, the hitting sucks and the pitching's good for the most part. That's been the MO of the Yankees all year long. That's how it's always been. So, it's very frustrating. So even though they swept the Marlins and Anthony Rizzo had a huge reason why they swept them, I mean, they barely won those games. The first game was like 4-2. The next game was like 3-1. And then Sunday's game, I forgot what it was. I think it was like 5-2 or something like that. But easily could have gone the other way. I mean, easily. And then last night, they come back home to start a 7-game homestand. And, you think, everybody's feeling pretty good. They got these big time, trade deadline acquisitions. And you would think, oh, wow, Anthony Rizzo brings something to the table, pumps up the clubhouse, maybe wake them up out of their freaking coma they've been on season long. And now with the Orioles coming into town, who are like 30 games under 500, they could do something. But of course, they sleepwalk through the game. They get 1 run, 3 hits out of a guy that the starting pitcher ERA was over 6, and they sucked. And yet, our guy who we got by the way, we got actually another trade from the Angels. It was a guy from the Angels, some guy named Hetty. And we gave him like a bag of balls and I think a box of Cheez-Its for this guy. And his ERA was like over 5, and he lived up to that ERA because he gave up like 4 solo home runs, like it was batting practice last night, and the game was over. When I checked the score, I was like, oh, look, it's 4-0 already. And then they end up losing 7-1. The only thing that was exciting was seeing the cat running on the field and late in the game. That was for 4 minutes. That's the most exciting part of the game. Now you know you're in trouble when the most exciting part of the game for your home team is seeing a cat running around the field, delaying the game for about 4 or 5 minutes. That's a problem. That is a huge problem. And it's just time and time again, over and over. It's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. It's just I don't understand. I don't understand. It's just I've never seen a team in my life. I've never seen a team in my life that everybody just it's like in a coma. Like usually on a team, you have a couple players that might go through a slump, but they get out of it. Then the other players might go through a slump when the other players get out of their slump and they start hitting. But no, it's like everybody. I mean, you got Gleyber Torres sucked all year. You got Gary Sanchez sucked all year. You have Aaron Judge. Okay, he's doing okay, but he's not living up to his rookie of the year stats from 2017. Now he's been off the disabled list, but he was on the COVID list, which is that's another ridiculous thing going on. It's like whoever thought we would have, like I said this a couple weeks ago, whoever thought we have a COVID list in our lifetime, some sort of a list, that would like do that. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It's just it's just so frustrating. It just really is frustrating, and I just don't get why this is going on. And there's other teams that, I mean, we are scoring. We're like the third lowest run scored in all of, I think, the American League. I don't know about baseball, but definitely in the American League, we're like the third last. There's only like 2 teams worse than us in runs scored. Is I think like the Rangers and the Orioles, and they're worse than us. Last time I checked, just yesterday, it was at 0. So the run differential is 0. And meanwhile, the Red Sox have scored 100 plus more runs than us. And I think even the Rays have scored way more runs than us. It's just ridiculous. Usually, what the MO of the Yankees been since this baby bomber situation came on the scene in 2017 is they knock it out in the regular season, but when the postseason starts, that's when they spit the bit. Now this year is the other way around. It seems like, well, hopefully it is in a way. It's like their postseason struggles have blended into the regular season, and that's what it's been all year long. Do you know they've only had a 4-game winning streak as their highest winning streak this year, and they've done that twice? That is why they're only like. It's amazing that they're 7 games above 500, and that's because it's their pitching. That's the only reason why. Because other teams that have these stats that they can't score runs, like the Yankees, they usually 30 or they're usually 20, 30 games below 500. But the Yankees have been fortunate that that's not the case because their pitching has been keeping them in games. Which who would have thought that? Because everyone just thought, well, besides Cole, who's going to really step it up? Luis Severino, who's still on, who still hasn't come back from Tommy John surgery. He's on his way coming back. Maybe he comes back by September, but are you going to count on him for being 100%? I don't think so. Not enough time to really do that. You have Montgomery, who's been good, but now he's on that COVID list, along with Cole, by the way, who Cole was supposed to pitch tonight against the Orioles, but he got put on the COVID list last night. It's like whatever they do right, it goes wrong for the Yankees this year. It's just they have that karma about them this year. They just can't get nothing right. It's just nothing that's going right with them. And the thing is, the amazing thing about it is that they're 7 games above 500. Because really, the way they've been playing all year long, they should be 7 games below 500. They really do. Because they don't really deserve to be where they're at. And this is the easiest part of their schedule. That's the funny thing. This is the easiest part of their schedule. And yet they're playing like I mean, for a team, I've never seen a team in my life that has the talent pool like the Yankees do. And they're playing not even subpar. They're playing below average. It's no one in their wildest dreams would ever thought that. Now, if this was postseason, I wouldn't have been surprised because that's what's been happening the last couple of years in postseason. They don't get clutch hitting. The pitching is not clutch. Or if they do, they don't score any runs. But now it's bled into from last postseason into this regular season of 2021. And it shows. And it's just lifeless. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's lifeless, boring baseball. And this weekend was the first time, because of Anthony Rizzo being on his team, not so much Joey Gallo, because Joey Gallo didn't move my excitement meter either way, but Rizzo did. And thankfully I did watch because I saw him hit, 2 home runs, drove in a couple of runs. He scored himself, 5 or 6 runs himself. So, great plays, clutch plays on the field and all that, clutch hitting, something that the Yankee team doesn't do. So it was something to look forward to. So it was good that I watched those games. But then here comes last night, and they spit the bit. Nothing that, Rizzo, it wasn't Rizzo's fault, just everybody else just sucked. And the starting pitcher didn't help with this Heedy guy, which he lived up to his baseball card, having an over 5 ERA for the season. And yet the guy they were facing, I forgot his name, he had an over 6 ERA and pitched like he was Sandy Koufax. It's ridiculous. It's just utterly embarrassing and shameful. And then to make matters worse, like I said, after the game's over, Cole and Montgomery, these starting pitchers on their starting rotation, 2 of your 5 is on the disabled list. And now you have Gio Urshela, one of our clutch third basemen on our team. He's on the disabled list for his hamstring for 10 days. So it's just like, where you think it's going to get better, which I didn't really realistically thought. I was just playing it one game at a time because I wasn't like these other people. Oh, now we're going to hit that stride. I heard this all year long. Oh, now this is going to be the turning point. That thing, not even close. Not even close. By the way, before I conclude my thoughts on the Yankees, there were other trades in the MLB trading deadline. The Dodgers, they got a great trade getting Max Scherzer and their that shortstop Turner, who is an underrated great shortstop, and they traded for like a couple of their major prospects to the Nationals. And that's a huge acquisition, not only getting Max Scherzer, but getting this shortstop, which Turner, who no one talks about, which just tells me right there that Seager, their shortstop that they have right now, who's going to be a free agent after this season, he's definitely going to walk. Because why would you get Turner part of the deal if you're going to keep Seager after the season? So, barring injury or some weird stuff that can happen, because anything can happen in baseball. The best team doesn't always win. So who knows what could happen? Who knows? So it's just crazy how, the rich get richer. And then there was other moves like the Mets got Baez from the Cubs. And then what's his name? Chris Bryant, which was surprisingly, he didn't go to the Mets. The Giants got him. The Mets got Baez, but not Chris Bryant. And all these 3 former Cubs, Bryant, Baez, and Rizzo hit a home run in their debut with their new teams, which is, I don't know, that's ever been done before with a trio of a core that won a championship together just not even 5 years ago did something like that with their first day on a new team. So that's interesting. So right now I have no idea what the Yankees are doing. Last time I checked, there was no score at the time, but my computer is basically acting up, so I can't tell you what's going on. But can't use my mobile hotspot right now, so I can't get into my computer. So I just have to go by what I'm going by right now. So my apologies for that. But anyway, on with the NBA. Of course, this is about 2 weeks too late, but I wasn't on last week. Nice to see a real team winning a championship and not these super teams, which that's a breath of fresh air. Congratulations and kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks, to the Greek Freak and the Milwaukee Bucks. All of them much deserved with their NBA title. They were definitely the best team. They're definitely won in 6 games. And Giannis, the Greek Freak, pulled off a spectacular NBA Finals clinching game, one of the best you will ever see in NBA history. He was so dominant. It was just unbelievable. here's a guy that really is not only a very, very good player. I mean, this is a guy within the last 3 games of the finals. He just woke up since that big block that he made in game 4 of the finals. It's like, and then the alley oop the next game during the closing minutes on the road in Phoenix. And I think it was, I forgot the dude's name. They did that pass alley oop, but it was, then he went from there, then having the game of his life, game 6 in the finals. I mean, those 3 games are the most dominant games I've seen since LeBron James brought back the Cavaliers from a 3-1 deficit to win the finals against a Warrior team that was supposed to be an historic NBA team that broke the 1996 Bulls record of going 72-10. And no one will remember that 83-19 because the Cavaliers and LeBron James Cavaliers came back from 3-1 to win that championship. So no one will ever remember the Warriors winning 83 and losing only 9 games that year because of what LeBron James did. And kudos, like I said, even back then 5 years ago, deservedly so. One of the greatest performances in 4 games of a finals I've ever seen in my life to close out a series. And Giannis is right up there too with it too. So that's amazing. And then now with the NBA free agency starting just a few days ago, it's going to be interesting. I know that CP3 is staying with the Suns. I know that he turned out a $44 million player's option, which is amazing to think that he turned out $44 million. I don't know how much he got in his new deal, but it goes to show you how much confidence you have. And this is an older player. It's not like he's in his prime. A guy turning down not even in his prime anymore, $44 million. He must definitely knew something. And I feel this also. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you this. During last week, where all these moves were going on in the NBA, MLB trading deadline, on the same day, when all this was going on with MLB, Russell Westbrook got picked up by the Lakers on a trade. And what a move by the Lakers to do that. The rich get richer. And that's going to definitely, I'm telling you right now, that unless barring injury, and they have to get like maybe a couple more pieces on the bench, but barring injury, they're going to the finals next year. It's going to be them, and it's going to be the Nets. But the only difference, even though that it should be a no-brainer, and that's going to happen, but you got to remember the Warriors are going to be back. They're definitely going to be back. And that the Nets in the East are going to be back barring injury. So, the Nets are going to be back, even though they'll be the favorites come in. But with the Eastern Conference, like, I don't, honestly, no disrespect to the Bucks who just won a title, I don't see them even coming close to repeating next year. I mean, things will have to go their way again like it did this past postseason. The Nets being hurt and, KD's foot being on the line when he was trying to make the game-winning shot. And, what's his name? Trey getting hurt from the Hawks. That helped tremendously. Although Giannis was hurt during the same time too. And he came back on that clinching game against the Hawks. Really didn't do much in that game. But he went off a tear after that. I mean, who would have thought seeing Giannis in that conference finals when he went down, looked like he tore his knee or something. Who would have thought he was going to come back at all during that postseason? And for him to bounce back like he did and do what he did in the finals, especially in those last 3 games, it's remarkable. And it's one of the best performances I've ever seen, not only in NBA finals history, but NBA history for those short 3 games, especially NBA finals. So that's just remarkable. So getting back to Russell Westbrook, I mean, I feel if the Lakers didn't get Russell Westbrook, I guarantee you Chris Paul probably would have gotten a call from LeBron. But because Russell Westbrook is younger, obviously, and let's be honest, in all due respect, Chris Paul, let's be honest, CP3 is a Hall of Famer, no doubt. First ballot. That's not even a question. But he's an older player. Russell Westbrook's still in his prime. So it's a no-brainer that they did this deal. Because otherwise, I think if both were in their prime, Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, maybe it would have been a toss-up who they would have want to get. And I think they would have not made a trade. They'd rather just sign the player. Like, why would you want to trade pieces to get somebody? But they trade pieces to get Russell Westbrook because, number one, he's young. And number two, he's one of the best players in the NBA right now. I mean, you talk about a guy who brings it to the table every single night. I mean, his alpha male aggressiveness and the way he just goes all out. I mean, he's perfect. I mean, he might butt heads with LeBron every now and then, but he's definitely gonna bring some spunk to that team. Absolutely. Anthony Davis is a little more laid back. LeBron, when he wants to be, he can be, aggressive. But homeboy here, Russell Westbrook, he's aggressive 24/7, 365, including leap year. So he brings so many intangibles up to the table for the Lakers. So they are definitely, I think, just a few key pieces on the bench, and they'll definitely are going to be. I mean, they definitely want the favorites to go to the finals of the West, but the West is going to be a little bit more harder, especially with, like I say, and I know Heaven said this on my show, that the Warriors, they're coming back. With the Splash Brothers coming back, and if they're back the way they usually are, and they play the way they usually play, they're going to be a tough team to beat. And that's, I think, the only obstacle for the Lakers. I mean, if what's his name stays in Portland, maybe Portland, maybe Utah, I guess, the Clippers, well, I don't know about that. The Clippers always shoot themselves in the foot. It seems like they're their own worst enemy. I mean, they were just in the Eastern Conference Finals, and everyone forgot that they are. I just even reminded myself they were in the Eastern Conference Finals just a few weeks back. It just shows you how the Clippers just, all these opportunities they get, doesn't matter who's on their team. They have great time the last few years, whether it was CP3 or, and then with Kawhi Leonard and all these other guys, they just don't get it done. When the chips are on the table, they can't get it done. And they had an easy path to get. All they had to do was just beat the Suns, but they couldn't do that. So this was a weird season when it came to this postseason that no one thought in their right mind Suns and Bucks were going to be NBA Finals. And if you betted that, first off, you just lucked out. And two, you're a liar if you said you thought that beginning of the season. You just either was drunk one day and just was throwing darts at a dartboard. Oh, okay, landed on the Suns and the Bucks. That's who I picked for the finals. I'll put a couple $100 on that in Vegas. If you did that, you got a good chunk of change for that. Because everyone thought it was going to be at least the Nets and the Lakers. At worst, maybe, I don't know, it would have been maybe, Sixers and Lakers, maybe, but no one saw the Suns. No one saw that coming. And what's his name that coached the Suns? He did an outstanding job, former Nick. He did an outstanding job. And, even though he didn't get Coach of the Year, and it was my man, Tom Thibodeau, who deserved it, of course, I think they both deserved it. I think they should have had a co-winner on that one. They don't do that no more in sports. They used to do stuff like that. Back in the day, they used to do stuff when it came to MVP and Coach of the Year. So if two guys were really that good and you couldn't decide which one, a clear-cut winner, they used to put both players, Manager of the Year. I remember one year in '96 with the Yankees, it was Joe Torre and I forgot the guy's name that used to coach for he managed the Rangers, I think. I forgot his name. He's passed away, but older guy. And hey, they both deserve it. If both guys deserve it, there's nothing wrong with having a co-winner once in a while. If both guys are really good, then give the award to both. They don't do that no more. They haven't done that in how long? I remember one year with Jason Kidd. Well, that was Rookie of the Year. The year that Jason Kidd won Rookie of the Year, he split it with, I think, Grant Hill. If I'm not mistaken, I think both him and Grant Hill came in the league the same year, and they both were co-winners of the Rookie of the Year that year. But if Heaven was here, he could tell me if I'm right or wrong. I really remember that they both won as Rookie of the Year the same year. And I don't understand why that can't happen. If they both deserve it, why not? Right or wrong? So, but anyway, Russell Westbrook is going to definitely be a huge addition to this Laker team, which was really needed because with LeBron James and with Anthony Davis being hurt, and they were hurt most of the year, so they didn't get a real good, not to make excuses for Lakers, but I'm just saying there was no one else that could step up besides them two. And you can't have that. You need that other person, and you need some valuable pieces on the bench. And the Lakers had, above average players. It wasn't like, oh wow, they could carry a team if one of them is hurt or both of them are hurt. It's not like that. If they had that other bona fide player, they might have been able to tread water, but they may have probably would have been eliminated maybe later on in the postseason anyway. But no one thought that the Lakers were going to be eliminated in the first round. Nobody did. Nobody thought that. And you're a liar if you thought that. But to be honest, they were depleted in injuries, just like the Nets got depleted injuries during at the worst time in the playoffs. If Kyrie Irving didn't get hurt and James Harden didn't get hurt, well, they started the postseason. The first game of the first round, James Harden got hurt in Brooklyn. And that was a trend that was going to start. And then, then we fast forward to the conference finals, Eastern Conference Finals, and then Kyrie Irving got hurt. Once Kyrie Irving got hurt, we all knew, that's what opened the door for the Bucks. Because let's be honest, if the Nets were fully loaded and healthy, they would have beaten the Bucks. I feel. It probably would have went the full 7, but I think they would have beaten them. I think so. And it wasn't KD's fault. It wasn't Kevin Durant's fault. He played his heart out. I give him credit when credit's due. Trust me, I think Kevin Durant is even a bigger jerk than LeBron James. But like I said earlier, I give credit where credit is due. He brung it those last few games. He brung it, especially at home. He brung it. So you cannot say, oh, well, Kevin Durant didn't deliver. Well, he delivered. He did his best. If his foot was just a few inches shorter, it was an inch or two shorter, that would have been a game-winning 3, a dagger in the heart for the Bucks, and the Nets would have went into the NBA Finals. And let's be honest, they probably would have beat the Suns easily, and they would have been going down Flatbush Avenue with the NBA trophy. Which, thank God, that didn't happen. As a Knicks fan, I would have not wanted to see that. As a Brooklyn-born kid, raised in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, I would not have liked to see that. I would not like to see that. But hey, it is what it is. But it was refreshing to see in the NBA postseason that it wasn't obvious for the first time in years who was going to win. Once the Lakers and the Nets were eliminated, it was an open door. People thought it was going to be the Suns. I personally said a few weeks back I wanted the Suns to win because I wanted Chris Paul to win a title. But after seeing those last 3 games, I understand what Heaven was talking about a couple of weeks ago when he was saying how he turned the tide and he wanted to see Giannis winning and the Bucks winning. And I totally got it. At first, I didn't understand it. I didn't see it at first when he said it at the time a couple of weeks ago. But from 2 weeks ago on, I definitely noticed that. And I definitely understood it. So they definitely deserve to win the title. Kudos to the Bucks. And enjoy that title, Milwaukee, because you ain't going to see no title for a long time. But hey, you took advantage. That's what teams are supposed to do. Take advantage of a situation. Just like the Houston Rockets did, in 94 and 95. That's what they did. Trust me, they wouldn't have had 2 championships in a row if Jordan wasn't around. Trust me. So they took advantage of it. Hey, it is what it is. Just like the Dodgers last year, they took advantage of a 60-game season. They won the championship. Hey, it is what it is. It's legit. They made it a season, even though it was 60 games, even though it was the way it was. Hey, they're the champions. Oh, well, just like the strike year of 81, Dodgers won the strike year against my Yankees. Hey, it is what it is. Just like the Spurs, in that short season of the 99 season, the 98-99 season, the season didn't start till February, and they had to go on a run, like no tomorrow to get that season in. They played I think 60 games that year or something like that. They played almost every other day or every day. It's amazing they got that season in that year. That's the one we got the Trust Brewer that year. I love the Trust Brewer. And then the Knicks were the first team as the 8th seed to make the finals, but that was only because of the way that the season was. And the Spurs at the time when they won that title, people thought it was an asterisk because that's because of the short season. But obviously, after David Robinson retired and they won a couple more titles, obviously it wasn't a fluke. Now with the Bucks, I'm not saying it's a fluke. They won this year, but they were very fortunate of how the trail to the championship happened. The road to the championship happened with Kyrie Irving getting hurt. Kevin Durant's foot on the line for that last shot, which could have been the 3-point dagger to their hearts. Trey getting hurt in the Eastern Conference. That was the excuse me. That's right. The Nets were in the Eastern Conference. That was the semifinals. the Hawks were in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks. But Trey got hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Giannis got even hurt in that final in the Eastern Conference Finals. But yet he came back in that last game, that clinching game for the Bucks, and he woke up games 4 through 6 in the finals like he was a world beater. And they took advantage, and they absolutely deserved to win that trophy, even though it was 10 games less in the regular season. But oh well, it is what it is. Everybody had a shot to win. As far as everyone played by the same rules, so you can't be like, oh, it's not fair the Bucks won. Or, even championship teams in the past that it was a short season, or, it was a strike season, or was a walk, or, lockout season, doesn't matter. You won that year, you won that year. There's no asterisk. The only asterisk I would ever give to a championship team is the asterisk, because they cheated in 2017. Other than that, different story. Matter of fact, I might even put an asterisk to the 2018 Red Sox, because they kind of cheated a little bit too. But anyway, moving right along. So, Aaron Rodgers. This is the final topic on here before I bid you all adieu. Aaron Rodgers. Now, here's the thing. This goes back a couple of weeks ago when I was last on. Training camp starting, of course, because now we're in August. And the Packers try to save face to the public eye when they offered Aaron Rodgers like some sort of deal in order to make themselves look good, but they knew that he was going to turn it down. And obviously that's what Aaron Rodgers did. He turned it down. Then we fast forward another week later, and Aaron Rodgers accepted some sort of renegotiated contract deal where he's going to stay, I think, for the next 2 years or something like that. And he was on this press conference being as blunt as possible as far as how he felt, he should have been involved more when it came to certain deals and blah, 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 blah. And here's the thing again, I have kept consistently saying on a regular basis on this show. Totally understandable that how the Packers management definitely foobarred Aaron Rodgers. They definitely treated him with disrespect. Absolutely. I'm not disputing that at all. My dispute is with Aaron Rodgers is this. There's an old saying, and the old saying is this: you are allowed to be treated the way you're going to be treated if you let them. I know I screwed up that saying, but there's an old saying that goes, whoever, you're allowed to be treated the way they treat you. If you don't step up and say something, is it really their fault? Or is it partially their fault and your fault too? In my opinion, I think it's both sides' fault. I think it's the management's fault of the Green Bay Packers, and it's Aaron Rodgers' fault because he's a super passive-aggressive guy. If you notice in his career and his mannerisms, how he is not a Tom Brady type A type of personality. He's not. He's the type of guy that if something bothers him, he clams up, he keeps it to himself, and he does these subliminal, wussy type of things, kind of like LeBron does. LeBron and Kevin Durant are kind of similar with it. They don't like, they act like everything's okay, but really their body language and their face shows otherwise. And they play this game of like, oh, everything's fine, but not really. And they throw these little message. Oh, like Aaron Rodgers did. Oh, I might host Jeopardy. Oh, I might not. I probably won't play for the Packers. And then all of a sudden, kumbaya happens with the Packers. Oh, now we had, a talk, whatever. Now I'm going to play for the Packers. But here's the thing. Now, to be honest, I didn't really see most of this press conference that Rodgers had last week. But here's the thing. Is the communication open between you and the management? And are you going to express yourself when you're not feeling right about certain things? Because I'm going to tell you all this, I'm going to say it again. In that NFC Championship game, when they were right there in the red zone, and they were right there, like a few yards away from the touchdown, and it was 4th down and about a few yards, the coach wanted to punt, which in a way is a disrespect to Aaron Rodgers. But wait a minute, you think Aaron Rodgers can't put the ball in for a touchdown? It's not like he has never been in this situation before, being deep into the opponent's goal line and scoring. So not only the coach did that, but Aaron Rodgers allowed it to happen and didn't say squat. He waits till after the game And where is this, this Brokeback Mountain handkerchief around his neck, saying, "Oh, and you could tell by his face and the way you read through his comments, he wasn't happy about the decision of the coach. Well, why didn't you speak up? You're Aaron freaking Rodgers. You got clout. You think again? I know I'm going back like what I said way back then in January on this show. But you think Tom Brady would have allowed that, even if it was Bill Belichick? You think if Bill Belichick was given the same situation and they're right there in an opponent's goal line, and he would have said, "No, we're gonna punt it." You think Tom Brady would have let that happen? I doubt that. Tom Brady would have been like, "No, I got this, coach. I got this. I'm Tom Brady. Remember, or did you forget?" And Aaron Rodgers obviously is not that type of personality, and he just goes, "Oh well, whatever." And then when it don't work out, now you want to sulk and be, then you want to bring up about, management didn't get me involved, blah, and you let all this out to the public eye. You know why? Because you felt embarrassed, you felt a certain way, and you wanted to, basically throw the management underneath the bus. Now, it doesn't disclude what happened with management, with Packers, as far as treating their mega star like he's like a third or fourth string quarterback. This is a superstar. This is a future Hall of Famer. This is a guy that gave you a Super Bowl title, 10 decades ago. But again, you are allowed to be treated the way they treat you. If you don't speak up and put your foot down, it is their fault, but it's also your fault too. That's my point. And Aaron Rodgers' passive aggressive wussy attitude, I just cannot stand. I hate athletes that do that, especially ones that are super duper stars. They're supposed to be the faces of the franchise and faces of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is definitely one of those players. And he let that moment slip through his fingers when all he had to do was tell his coach, this ball is going in the end zone. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I got this. But obviously, you gave management to think that you didn't got it. You didn't have the bull by the horns because of your passive aggressiveness. And you probably didn't want the bad publicity, thinking you weren't a team player, blah, blah, blah. But if you took the bull by the horns and got the team in for a touchdown and won the game and went to the Super Bowl, and who knows if you would have beaten the Chiefs, things would have been a different story. But I'm really sour on Aaron Rodgers. I can't stand him. I really can't stand him. It's not that I hate the guy. I hate people who are passive aggressive. I can't stand that. It just irks me. Tell me how you feel. Don't do these subliminal messages, or don't hold it back and then you tell someone behind my back or someone else's back. I don't understand why people do that. In life in general, I just don't get that. Just say it. Sit the person, especially if you're in a loving relationship. Now I'm getting away from sports for a minute, but if you're in a real a real serious relationship with somebody, don't you think they deserve to know how you feel? Whether it's being married or a business relationship, and in this case it's Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I mean, Brady, he did the Patriots a solid. He didn't have to take a pay cut, but he wanted his team to be better. He wanted to win. That was the thing. He wanted to win. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers didn't want to win. He wanted to soak and pout and then point his finger at the Packers. Which, by the way, I'm not saying the Packers don't deserve some finger pointing, because they did treat their superstar like a piece of garbage in a sense. Basically disrespecting him. But in the way Aaron Rodgers deserved that disrespect is the way he presented himself. He allowed that disrespect to happen. So he should have known better. He should have done better. But, it is what it is. So, whoop-de-doo, as Jackie Gleason would say in The Honeymooners, that Aaron Rodgers is with the Packers. All is right in the NFL world. In my opinion, who cares? I could care less. And that's the truth. I could care less. If, I just hate, when people talk a big game, I'm going to leave, I'm going to do this, and you don't do it. Now, he did it in a subliminal way, playing games and stuff like that. But don't play games. Either you're going to do it or you don't do it. Don't be this passive aggressive type of person. You know, I mean, I know that's how he is, but it's just a person that's like me, that's straight up and real, and don't sugarcoat anything. It just irks me. It just bothers me. It's like we're human beings. We're adults. If you're an adult, especially when you're an adult, I expect behavior like that from a kid. I can understand a kid, even a kid in his early 20s. You know, I can understand that a little more. But when you're a grown person, what's Aaron Rodgers like 30 something, wherever he is? He's younger than me. I'm 48. He's probably like what, his mid 30s, wherever he is right now. Come on, be a man. Talk. It doesn't hurt to open your mouth. Okay, some feelings might get hurt by telling the truth, but at least you tell the truth. Tell how you feel. Jeez, it's better to do that than to hold back and then you throw these subliminal messages and then you want to play it off like, oh, you know, I'm just, you know, maybe I'm going, maybe I'm not. Oh, and you let out these certain things through the media, and both, and like I said, both sides did that. Both the management of the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. So no one is, both are at fault at that. But it's funny how a lot of people are not really coming down to Aaron Rodgers, besides me. Now I don't know how Heaven feels about it, but I'm like, how's he not get at least a little? I'm not saying very Aaron Rodgers, at least some sort of criticism. Like, but you actually are at fault to let this get to this bridge right here, Aaron Rodgers, of why this is happening, why management is treating you this way, because you don't treat yourself with that same respect. You treat yourself like if you don't deserve to be having respected or something. Like so in other words, Aaron Rodgers wants to be that type of guy. He rather just have people respect him and don't demand respect. Well, sometimes you gotta demand respect. I don't care if you're a man, woman, whatever you are. You demand respect. Now you don't have to demand respect, but pounding your fist on the table. I deserve respect. Not like that, but your presence, the way you present yourself as a person, that alone should demand respect without you opening your mouth and yelling at somebody. But of course, Aaron Rodgers don't do that. It's just really, it's just really annoying and very, very disappointing. It's just, with baseball the way it is, and don't get me started with baseball the way people have no idea when it comes to situational hitting and, moving the runners over and, the fundamentals, not just in baseball, but every sport. It's just all going down the tubes, especially in baseball. I mean, my Yankees alone, and they're just hard to watch. I know I'm going back to my Yankees, but it's just hard. It's just very hard. And, you just see the product on the field and you go, why would I pay $25 for parking for this? Why would I pay money to go see him play live? Why would I buy $12 for a freaking cup of beer? Why would I buy merchandise when all I see is crap on the field? People who are getting paid tons and tons of money, which, by the way, hey, I go for anybody that goes for every dollar. I'm not saying they don't have the right to, but I'm just saying, can you at least show that you care? Can you at least show that you're trying? Show it. I'm not saying you have to throw bats in the dugout or on the outfield, throw balls in the stands, but show something. Show some aggressiveness. Show some heart. Show some spunk. Because we everyday slobs that go to work every day, when we see how these multimillionaires, how they are playing for pay and not working for pay. I mean, think about it. They're playing for a living. Think about that. They're playing for a living. We're working for a living. That's the difference. I know MLB is a business. I know the NBA is a business. I know the NFL is a business, of course. All these other sports, NHL, all these, of course, soccer. We all know this is a business first. But they're playing a kid's game for millions upon millions of dollars. And the leagues make billions upon billions of dollars. And of course, the owners are not going to care because they ain't money hand over fist. But yet want to cry out poverty, some of these guys. Because they don't know how to, they don't know how to situate a franchise. They don't know how to work a franchise. They have no idea what the heck they're doing and what type of people to hire for their team. But I digress with that. But when you have players that just look like they know they're getting guaranteed money no matter what they do, and they're laughing all the way to the bank every 2 weeks, and poor slobs like us that care. I'm not talking about the the casual fan. I'm talking about diehard fans like me, diehard fans like Heaven Hollywood, diehard fans like Wes Clark, diehard fans like you who listen and watch the show that put your hard-earned money to these players that they look like they don't care if the team was on fire, if the stadium was on fire, if you was on fire, they could care less. As long as the check clears, that is most what they only care about. And that is the truth for most players. I'm not saying all, but if you give me a percentage, I would say about 75%. By the way, well, perfect segue. I got Evan Hollywood in the house. He came in at a perfect time. I want to get his thoughts on certain things, especially what the how the NBA Finals happened at the NBA Finals and the big Russell Westbrook trade and his thoughts about Aaron Rodgers. Whoop-de-doo, as Jackie Gleason would say. So what's up?
What's up, brother? Sorry I'm late.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. You came in at a perfect time. You came in at a perfect time. I want to get your thoughts first off on the Bucks winning the title because we haven't really spoken about it on the show since we were last on. And
Right.
you know, Giannis, the Greek Freak, what a tremendous performance, especially from Game 4
Ooh.
on. And and the Lakers saying, "Well, hold up, we got something up our sleeve. Enjoy that
Oh yeah.
title because here comes Russell Westbrook, one of the most, not only dominant players but most, I mean, alpha males on the court in the NBA today." I want to get your thoughts on that, and then you can lead the way. I already said my thoughts about Aaron Rodgers, but I wanted you to talk about that too, and whatever else you got going on. So go ahead.
Um
Yours.
Absolutely. So first on the Bucks, I was like I said, it was the type of finals where I was kind of rooting for CP3 because I
Yeah.
wanted to see CP3 get his, but then as it started to go on, I started finding myself rooting for Giannis because
Yeah.
he's just the type of player who's like very engaging, and you just find it's just hard to root against them. You
Yeah.
know, so when I started seeing the the dominance that he was, I mean, he was totally dominating the
Mm-hmm.
finals, and
Yep.
what I loved was a team in the what I won about the Bucks winning the championship is a team won where their dominant player isn't a 3-point shooter. So that throws all that stuff out the window about you have to shoot threes now to win a
Mm-hmm.
title because Giannis doesn't shoot threes very well. And the Bucks, it was they tried running up and down the court shooting threes, and they see that wasn't working. So needed a where they said they had the advantage was going inside. Phoenix is not a very big team. They're looked upon as like a finesse team other than Crowder. They're not very tough. Of course, like Chris Paul, of course, is a tough dude, and Crowder, but you know, DeAndre Ayton, where coming out of a Western Conference Finals where he looked dominant, looked totally not ready for the moment in the finals. And of course, the Bucks got a little luck with Durant 1/2 inch on the line, but
Absolutely.
they got a little lucky with that. But what people say, oh, they got lucky but what people have to remember is that shot by Durant sent it into OT, and they
Yep.
still had a chance in OT to win. So
True.
you started
True.
off in OT equal, and you still have a chance in OT to win. So Giannis was totally dominating. I think that was a 50 spot in game was in a closeout game in the finals. What was he? 50 points, 14 rebounds. I mean, people try to, you see idiots like Skip Bayless try to, downplay it. There is
I
no
can't.
downplaying. When you score 50 points, when you score 50 points in a closeout game in the NBA, and I think only two of his shots were threes. And the thing I like about him, the thing that separates Giannis from Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons is terrible at the line and he's scared to go to the line. Giannis is terrible at the line, but he keeps going back, and he wants to be put in that situation where he's forced to knock down free throws. So and he never shied away from going to the free throw line,
No, he didn't,
and
and he got
he
better.
had it going. He was
He got
17
better.
of 19,
Yeah,
you know, in game seven. So listen, man, finally the best, you know, he's got that championship under his belt. In this day and age, I don't know about a repeat, you know, because I believe that the Nets, if the Nets bring the same team back next year and they're
Mhm.
healthy, I can't see how anybody's going to beat them. I mean, the Bucks took them to 7 games without Harden and without Kyrie Irving. So
So imagine if they had those guys.
right, so if they had those guys, they would have been out of there. But like I said, it's all about taking advantage of your opportunities. The Bucks did
Absolutely.
that, um,
Yeah.
and I'm glad Giannis got a championship. And as
Totally agree.
far as as far as his knock on super teams and everybody say taking a shot at LeBron, I loved it. And LeBron's on my team, and I love the fact that he said, you know, I did it with the team that drafted me, and I didn't need a super team and stuff like. I I loved it. You know,
Yeah,
let's say
I loved
that.
it too. Not to cut you
I
off. You
like
know why I loved it? Is because I hate this lovey-dovey going on in sports nowadays.
right.
I like to see real rivalries. Not that it's going to be a real rivalry because they're in the Eastern Conference, so they only even face each other twice or
Ain't no
whatever.
nonsense. Shout out to
But
no
guess what?
nonsense. That
But guess
well,
what? It'll inspire. Trust me, it'll do a spark on LeBron and their team. And oh, really? Okay,
right.
now we Russell.
So now we got Russell Westbrook,
Yeah,
and
what's
like
your
I
thought?
said, mm,
Yeah, I can imagine
um,
when you must
I
have been
would
excited.
I would rather have had. I mean, if you tell me whether do you want Russell or Bradley Beal, right? I would probably say Bradley Beal only because Bradley Beal can shoot, and
Gotcha.
he probably works better with LeBron than Russell Westbrook will. You know,
Mhm.
Russell is a ball dominant guy. They
True.
tried an experiment like that with Harden and said, "Oh, you know, when Harden's off the court, and you know, you can take over that, and then certain times, you know, you can play off the ball." Russell Westbrook cannot play off the ball. He doesn't shoot well enough to be a shooter off the ball. So you add Russell. Yes, he is a triple double machine or whatever. He basically is doing what LeBron did in his younger age,
True.
but at this point in his career, LeBron is probably a better outside shooter than Russell, and that ain't good.
True.
Um, now
Good
as
point.
far as his talent, I mean, they're going to be dangerous just on he's probably the most athletic point guard in league history. He's one of the most electrifying players. He's like Allen Iverson on steroids. You know,
That's a great comparison.
he's a triple double machine. And but the thing I worry about him is when he went to Houston and he was second fiddle and he had to play off the ball. Yeah, he averaged 25 points, but he was like 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So he was kind of like out of his back. Now he goes to Washington where he's ball dominant, and what happens? He averages a triple double again. So you know, LeBron is still going to be, you know, unless LeBron is simply saying, you know what, I'm completely playing off the ball, which to me that is playing to LeBron's weaknesses. LeBron has to be controlling the game, and playing off the ball is not really LeBron's style. But you know, we'll see. It'd be interesting only because of the talent. So of course they're going to win a lot of games, but you know, because of the talent. But if they can stay healthy, I remember Russell Westbrook has taken a pounding over his course of his career, and he's one, you know, bad fall away
Mm.
from a meniscus tear again, or and he's had a couple of meniscus tears. But so I
Mm.
like to move into the fact as though that was
Yeah.
probably the best player available out
Yeah.
there. So
Now, let me ask you this, guy. I said this before you came on. Had CP3 be a few years older, and he turned down the player option of the $44 million from the
Right.
Suns. Had he been a little younger or around Russell Westbrook's age, I could see him going to Lakers more than Russell Westbrook. But I think
Right.
because CP3 is
And it
too
would have
old,
fit better too.
yeah, I think honestly, to be honest, that would have been a better fit if CP3 was
It would
younger.
have
I
been.
think I would have taken that if if
Right.
they were both in their prime. I would
Right.
rather
But
have him with LeBron and
I'd
Anthony
rather
Davis.
have CP3 as well. Number one, CP3 to me is a better on-ball defender. Russell's a better help defender, and he's better, of course, in transition. He's going to push the pace. That's one thing. He plays fast. CP3 slows down the pace because he wants to pound the ball. I still feel as though it may have been a little better fit only because CP3 is ball dominant too, but he doesn't take a lot of shots. He's ball dominant to pass. He's pass first ball dominant wherein Russell, and I believe that CP3 would help Anthony Davis and put him in positions where he needs to be on the floor. It's like the Lakers to me, my thing is, yeah, I mean, they're because of the talent level, but to me, 2 years ago in the bubble, you won the championship. Why didn't you run that back? Like I don't understand why the team that won the title, why they didn't run it back. And that year, they had a chance to get Carmelo Anthony, and they didn't get him. So now, this year, here comes Howard back, where he never should have left. You had Howard, and when you won the championship, why didn't Howard, Rondo, and those dudes that were on the team come back? Dion Waiters, whoever's on the team. All right, they didn't come back. So now Carmelo's 2 years older, and you go get Carmelo when you could have had him 2 years ago, already on the team. And then maybe last year, if LeBron and if you got LeBron and Carmelo, who knows? You may have been able to beat Phoenix. Who knows? But um, yeah, I mean, just because LeBron's going to be LeBron, if AD can stay healthy, then he's always a problem. So I can see the Lakers going to the Western Conference Finals next year, but I have to see if the Clippers are healthy. I have to see
The
Denver.
Warriors, don't forget the
Denver
Warriors.
got better.
Hmm.
Warriors. I'm one of the people who think unless they make another move, I think the Warriors championship window's gone.
Hmm.
Um, I'm one of the people who believe their championship window's gone. Steph is a year older. Clay's coming off missing 2 years, so we don't had two different leg injuries. The two worst leg injuries that a player can have in basketball is an ACL tear and an Achilles tear. Those are the worst two injuries, and
Yep.
he had them both.
Nope.
So we're going to see if Clay is still. We know he's still going to be able to shoot. All right. So I mean, he's a shooter, but will
Mhm.
he still have that same movement on defense? Will he still be that same lockdown defender? I believe he's going to lose a step. He's going to be a little bit less um, aggressive, going to the middle of the basket. You know what I mean? So I believe he's going to be a little less aggressive. I think Klay Thompson, I think the last couple of years he averaged like 21 and 22. I think he's going to average about 19. He's going to go down to about 19. Draymond Green, again, he's the type of guy that has to be in the perfect situation, in order to be effective. So and Steph is going to be Steph. So I want to see what happens with them. I would have thought now if they had got Ben Simmons and kept those other pieces, and then played Ben Simmons like a power forward, played him at power forward and moved Draymond to center and played like that that death lineup again, then I might say, wow, oh, okay, they're dangerous. But I don't know if they're going to have enough. Denver, to me, is going to be dangerous this year, just depending on if Jamal Murray comes back. And the Clippers are going to pretty much be without Kawhi. So, and I don't know how long that's going to be. Probably months. When he comes back, how's he going to look? So we'll see. But the Lakers will be right there. Um, and then who else you talking about? Rogers.
Yeah, correct, Roger.
So I mean, the situation to me just doesn't make a lot of sense. So they went, and it seems like the owners or the guys in the front office are going to get players um, to make Rodgers happy. But there seems like they're not having a lot of fun doing it. They don't really want to do it, and they're only doing it to satisfy Rodgers. So at the end of the day, that's not really going to work. I mean, Randall Cobb coming back to, I mean, he's a nice player, but Randall Cobb is not the answer. That's not what Aaron Rodgers needs. Aaron Rodgers is looking for young, explosive wide receiver, another good wide receiver to put on the other side of Devontae Adams. They had Randall Cobb 3 years ago. And if he wasn't the answer 3 years ago, why is he going to be the answer 3 years later? Because he's good in the locker room and he gives Aaron Rodgers someone he's comfortable with. I mean, why don't you go get Greg Jennings out of retirement? He's comfortable with him. So is I mean, I don't. Rodgers does not want to be on the Packers.
Yeah,
Now,
it's obvious. Yeah.
is he? So has he showed up? I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been keeping up with Rodgers. Has he showed up at camp? He's been at camp, right?
Yeah, now, yeah, he has. But my thing, what I said earlier, is that again, this goes. I mean, part of this. I mean, both sides are at fault in a sense because they let all this out, whatever. But my thing is, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, you're Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
And you're one of the faces of the NFL, a franchise player, right? So going back to that championship game, I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. You were right there on the opponent's goal line. The coach said, "We're gonna punt on fourth down." Now, knowing the pedigree that you have, you let the coach make that. Of course, that's your coach, and you respect your coach. But sometimes when you have that type of pedigree, like a Tom Brady, like
Peyton Manning,
you say, "No, coach, I got this."
Exactly.
He did not do that. He played the passive aggressive. Okay,
he let and you see what
they want to point fingers.
Yeah, and then you see what happened. That the same thing happened with Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson was that guy, when he said you're going to do a pass, he would have said, no, 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 no. We're giving this ball to Lynch. I understand about what you're calling, coach, but listen, this is my team. I'm the quarterback. I'm the champion. I'm the Super Bowl champion. I got you your championship. Listen, we're handing this ball to Lynch. Understand, if that doesn't work, I'm going to quarterback sneak on second down. If this doesn't work, it's on me. It's on me. So Peyton Manning did it a few years ago when Tony Dungy said we're punting. Peyton Manning said, "Screw that! No, 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 we're going."
Yeah.
And then Tony Dungy said, "Okay, it's on you. If you say we're going and we miss it, it's on you."
Yeah.
And I remember Peyton Manning went for it. He got it. And then they ended up scoring a touchdown. I forgot what game it was. It wasn't a playoff game, but it was a regular season game.
Yeah, but
and
still.
Peyton Manning was like 4th and 3. Oh, no, 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 no. We're going for it. And I've seen him do that a couple of times. Tom Brady would do the same thing.
Oh,
Brady would do the same thing.
He do that. Even Bill Belichick or no Bill Belichick, he did it.
Right. Right. And so, you're absolutely correct about that. Aaron Rodgers is still, he's not an alpha.
No,
he wants to go out there. He thinks going out there, he's like, he reminds me a lot, except without the winning. He reminds me a lot of Jeter, right? Jeter is just more like, oh, I'm just gonna let my play, for me. Jeter wasn't really the rah rah type. He was kind of like the lead by example. But then again, when I say reminds me a lot of Jeter, then again he doesn't. He really doesn't because he's more like A Rod to me.
Mm.
A Rod.
Yeah, Rogers, because at least with Jeter,
Rogers is more
when
like
the
A
big
Rod.
moment came up, he won.
Right.
You know,
And
A-Rod did.
Jeter led by example. A
He
Rod
was never
thought,
rah-rah.
you know what?
Correct.
My talent, I'm the most talented one out here. I'm the best hitter. I'm the best fielder. I'm the best looking. You know what I mean? So on the team, so you just follow behind me. My numbers speak for itself. That's what he's about. That's how Rogers is. Rogers is about numbers. He's got after all these years, he's still only got that one title that
10
he
years
went
ago, at
to
least.
against my team when Ben was drunk all weekend. That only title that he won is Ben Roethlisberger was drunk all weekend and couldn't perform on Sunday, and he hasn't been back since. So, but yet and still, he's, 39 touchdowns, only 2 picks. Oh, but then he's leading the league in throwaways too. So he's throwing the ball away. He's
Mhm.
got more throwaways than because he's trying to avoid interceptions. So he can say, look, I did my part, 39 touchdowns, only 2 picks. So Rodgers is more like A-Rod to me. He thinks that just because he's the most talented, and his numbers always look like, man, he always wants to be the one to say, "Oh, Al Rogers doesn't have any help. It's not his fault."
He doesn't
Like
like
how
it.
A Rod was on the Rangers. A Rod doesn't have any help. Look, he put up MVP numbers. So
Yeah, then when he was on a
um,
real team, he still spit the bit, except for
right,
2009. Yeah. So
right. So
I
I'll tell
understood
you,
one reason. One reason.
but that's the thing about Rodgers. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna let him
Yeah.
go, let him go. I'd
But
love
yeah,
to see him on another team, but
yeah,
he's back
exactly. But
now, and I'm telling you, I don't think it's gonna be the same results. You try something over and over, the same as the definition of insanity. I think they're coming back once again with one wide receiver, Devontae Adams, who's gonna face double teams every single week, and they're gonna say, let's see if Randall Cobb can beat us. You know what I mean? And he's
good luck.
gonna come up short again.
Yeah, it's just I just didn't understand this whole time, these last few months, when everybody was, on Aaron Rodgers' side. I said, but hold up, why are you not looking at the other side of this? Like,
Yeah.
I looked at it as like, okay, understandable management didn't get him in certain things, but think why that is. It's because he is not the type to be like, hey, what's going on here? He wants
Yeah.
people to come to him
You
and
want
be
people to
like,
come to
oh,
him and say,
Aaron,
"Yeah, you didn't ask
this
me
is what we're
about that."
doing.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Because you're Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes you got to put your foot down. Tom Brady had to put his foot down a lot of times with the Patriots. And
yeah,
the only
and
reason
he
he was
did it
able to
last
stay
year
is
with the
because he did
Bucks
that.
too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So that,
See, this is the difference with Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to get off this. This is the difference with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. We are in August. Tom Brady just won his seventh ring. Do you know he's already been in a fight? We're in August. We're in August.
exactly.
This dude
This is,
This dude
you know,
just came off winning his seventh championship and going to his 10th Super Bowl.
yep, 7 out of 10.
And he is in August, and it's the first week of practice, and this dude is yelling at his teammates already. That's the difference
That's termination.
between
That's a
between
winner
Tom Brady. Tom Brady has won 7 rings, and this dude is still acting as though he's never won.
because he's not
And that's
complacent.
the difference between him and everybody else.
Fact. And that's why he's not complacent like Aaron Rodgers. He won
Yep.
that one title, and he's like, well, now you come to me. I don't have to stick out my chest. Not that he ever would
Right.
anyway. But my point being is that he's not hungry like that, like Tom Brady or similar athletes like that, the alpha male.
Right.
That's not him. It never was. He wants to just be catered. Like, well, let's get Aaron about it.
I know.
They
Look
don't
at
think
his.
that
I've
because
never seen no one throw a ball like him. He
and he might be the again, and this used to drive me nuts these last few years. We understand that he's an accurate passer and all this. But, and I'm going to sound like Mad Dog, but game of the line, Mikey, who would you want? You want Tom Brady in the championship game, or you want Aaron
Right.
Rodgers?
Or you want Aaron Rodgers with all that accuracy that he has.
Yeah,
Give me Tom Brady any day of the
any
week
day,
and twice on
any
Sunday,
day, any day.
especially Sunday.
Especially exactly. So that's my point. It's not sometimes it's not all about talent. Let's remember Brady was like the billionth pick in the draft.
Right.
Back in the 2000s,
All
it's over
about
20
talent
years
all
ago.
the
And look
time,
what
man.
happened. You know what I'm
It's not
saying?
all about talent.
It's not all about talent. Mo Lewis, I know they probably have a statue outside of Foxborough from the Jets. Mo Lewis,
It's
thank you
kind
for
of like the same in rap. Everybody says, "Why in the hell? How is Cardi B getting all these number ones? She can't rap. This is what not what I say, but what people say.
I
She
know.
can't rap. She don't write her own rhymes. She has no flow. She can barely talk. We can't understand her. She doesn't care, but there's just something that she has. She has something that
Yeah,
resonates with people. So
exactly.
like I said, it's not always about
Talent.
talent.
It's not always about talent.
Sometimes it's the other. Sometimes it's the unsaid things. The things that you just the little it factors. So
Yeah, and
and
yeah,
Tom Brady is that it factor guy, and Aaron Rodgers, he's got all the skills and all the talent. Yeah, and it looks pretty. You know what I mean?
but guess
But
what?
there's something missing.
Yeah, he
There's
does
something that
it
you know.
factor. The
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is
clutch.
that girl, that real pretty girl that just like has always been like the
Yeah,
baddest bitch in
you
the
know what
school.
you
Be like,
you
why
Aaron
does she
Rodgers
keep
is?
getting left? You
Aaron
know what I
Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. I don't mean to interrupt. Aaron Rodgers is the Halle Berry of football.
mean? It's
He's
like
the
he's
baddest chick, but
always the
always
prettiest
something
girl,
happens.
always got the best numbers. He always looks the best doing anything. But it's like the prettiest girl in the school. Yeah, like Holly Berry. Why does Holly Berry keep getting left? She's so beautiful. She was one time the most beautiful woman in the world, but she can't keep a man. That's Aaron Rodgers. There's something that Holly Berry isn't doing or is doing that's making her lose men. And
Yep.
that's it's something that Aaron Rodgers isn't doing
Yes.
that makes him not go back to a Super Bowl
Yes.
in the last 11 to 12 years.
Yes.
So
Exactly. And
on that note, it's into that.
yeah, at the end of that, and a little segue to Cardi B. Now we're gonna have the chat room really blow up. But again, like Heaven says, it's not about talent. She has a few attributes. Obviously,
Yes,
she has the
exactly.
look. She has the personality, and she knows
Personality.
the business. She's smart. She got a great crew of people,
Got a
creative
group
people.
team behind it. Exactly. You got to
Know
get
how
a
to
good
do
team.
videos.
If you
So
don't know everything about the business, guess what? You go get people who do know everything about
bingo.
the business.
Exactly.
You can't have too big of an ego where you say, I don't need that person. They can't tell me what to do. This person, you have to be able to listen to the right people, follow instructions, um, like I said, have a team, be able to work with a team. A lot of that has to do, with your personality and people wanting to work with you.
Exactly.
So, and like I said, when people always laugh at me about Saweetie, oh, Saweetie's trash, so she's this, she's that. But again, Saweetie has share. I'll say it again, share. Cher is about 75 years old. She
Mm,
is an icon.
absolutely.
And you got Beyonce out here. You got Ariana Grande. You got Nicki
Mhm.
Minaj. And who does Cher say, I need to collaborate with her? Sweetie. Out of
Mhm.
all those people. Why? because there's something that she has
She brings her
that
people.
people resonate with, and people want to work with her. Gwen
Yes.
Stefani, same thing. Another icon, Gwen Stefani, worked with Saweetie. And I told people, they're like, oh, well, there has been. See, that's some young people talking.
Uh,
There has been, and those songs did nothing. That's not the point. The
exactly.
point is, Cher and Gwen Stefani don't ever have to have another hit record again. But that is a cosign. See, that's a cosign. So if by someone like Gwen Stefani and someone like Cher saying, "I want to work with that girl,"
Hmm.
it don't matter what the song does. That's a cosign that an icon like that, who really don't mess with the young generation.
No,
She really don't. Cher really don't have
no.
nothing to do with the young generation.
Yeah, don't
And
share.
she said, right, share don't share. She thinks this young generation is garbage, and where's the lie? But she said she wanted to work with. That's the it factor that I was
Correct.
telling people about. That's when I called her. That's why I called her the hip hop Rihanna. And people get mad. Oh, how are you gonna compare? Because of what I just said.
Then
Rihanna's the same way.
exactly.
Beyonce can dance, twirl, do cartwheels, sing to the highest octave, and everything else, perform, entertain. She does not resonate with the industry and with the people like Rihanna does. And she does everything better than Rihanna, except resonate with the people.
Exactly.
People like Rihanna more than they like Beyonce.
It's just fact.
That's just the facts.
It's just fact. It's
It's
not
just the
opinion.
facts.
That's why they gravitate to her because she's a personable person. She could walk down, Park Avenue or whatever, and she's by herself, with the freaking bodyguards all over the place. Well, now she does because of ASAP, but but I'm saying when she
Right.
walks by
Hold
herself,
on. I wanna answer some in the channel. So no nonsense says
yeah, no
I was
nonsense.
shocked when I heard that Cher is an icon. Yes, she is. But
Yeah,
then she said, "Do you really think that Gwen Stefani is an icon?" Don't get me wrong. I like her, but I wouldn't consider her an icon.
no, me either.
Um.
I don't. I agree with her. I don't see her as an icon. I see her as definitely a big contributor to the music business, but I don't know about icon. I mean, I don't know.
Now, when they okay, so let me to while I think I was reading off her, you know, I say this, and it is, and I guess we'll find this out. Um, I guess we'll find this out once it happens, or if it never does happen, because it's not like sports. It's
Mhm.
hard to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Believe it or not.
So if Gwen Stefani gets into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that will answer our question. If they put her in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there are no, it's not like sports.
Uh
There
huh.
are no mediocre people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, no,
If
exactly.
you get there, you're supposed to be there. So if Gwen
Icon
Stefani,
or nothing.
right?
Yeah,
If
exactly.
Gwen Stefani gets to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I guess that'll answer all our questions.
Now, Kevin, now let me give a follow-up question to you, and I'll answer this as well. If you had to vote, would you give it to her or not?
Um, Based on the things that I read up on,
Hmm.
and now to me, when I think of um, icons or legends or what have you, I think of like Stevie Nicks,
Hmm.
you know, I think of like Stevie Nicks, and who else would I say is an icon? I guess I would say Joan Jett,
Hmm.
you know, Cindy Lauper,
Yeah, she's
that's
definitely.
that's just my opinion. But
Yeah, absolutely.
she is. I wish I had the
Yeah.
the rundown of what they were doing, like
Yeah,
voting
I
those. A lot
really,
of people have her like, she was like voted the 20. I believe she was voted like the 25th most influential pop star of
mhm,
the 2000s, and you know,
mhm,
and she was the I think it was like Rolling Stones most 75 most important musicians.
mhm,
So I have not really I was never really into No Doubt, and I know about some of the songs they have.
mhm.
Me personally, I guess I was saying icon because of what I hear,
Yeah,
from other people. Now,
people.
me
Yeah.
personally, I wouldn't vote her in
I think,
because
yeah,
now,
I say that too.
I have to look and see because I kind of compare her to kind of like Pat Benatar. Well, I don't know, maybe Pat Benatar may be it. I better not say that. I better hold my tongue on that
Yeah, hold that
because
thought.
Pat Benatar might be in. We have to look and see. Um, but if nothing more, Gwen Stefani is a pop. I'll put it like this: Gwen Stefani's a pop star that you would figure wouldn't be working with Saweetie. You know, you would think you could see her working with a Nicki Minaj, or you would expect Gwen Stefani to, she worked with Eve before. So you would expect Gwen Stefani to say, you know what, I'm going for the big dogs. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, what I mean, but you
Yeah,
just don't see her working with so and the same thing with the McDonald's deal. That's what I'm talking about. Why Saweetie?
that's
Out of all these people, why is McDonald's picking Sweetie
that
to
that
have a meal?
that's something you have to really dig deep in that because I find that very fascinating because I mean we could have had Rihanna fries, refries, or
Right?
you know, uh, the McHouston, the McWhitney, I don't know, like why we
Right.
didn't get that? I mean,
Nikki rings, onion ring, Nikki rings.
yeah, exactly.
Shaped like onion rings, shaped like Nicki Minaj's earrings,
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, that's another great idea. But think about it now. Not to sound like the old man on the lawn, but we grew up when icons were
Blondie, absolutely Blondie, which is
oh,
Debbie Harry. Absolutely, Debbie Harry is in the Debbie Harry's already in the Hall of Fame. So
that's the question.
that's a no nonsense. Debbie Harry and yeah, Gwen Stefani. That's no comparison. Debbie Harry is a legend. She's not
Even if
just an icon. She's
even
an
if
icon and a legend. She's a legend.
absolutely, even if Blondie wasn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I would still say she's a legend, and that it's a shame she's
Yeah,
not.
definitely a legend.
Yeah, so that's a good one. That no nonsense again. Yeah, shout out to no
Yep,
nonsense.
no
Yeah,
nonsense. Shut up.
yeah, and also Joseph Tan and everybody else in the chat
Yeah, absolutely.
room.
All right, I
But
gotta get out of here. It's
oh, okay.
10:05. Was there something else you got?
No, nothing else.
Did we go over something? Did we cover all the topics?
Well,
Um,
yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to tell the story.
Craziness in the NBA,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the free agencies, and
yeah.
I was watching. Oh, by the way, before I go, I was watching. I was going through some of the old uh, baseball videos, and I came across the Yankees blowing the 3-0 lead. And for some reason, I don't ask me why.
I don't know how you didn't
For
remember.
some reason, I sat down and watched it over. Maybe I was expecting a different result. I was trying to see if 15 years later the Yankees choked it away again, and lo
Yeah,
and behold, they did.
18 years. Yeah, actually 17 years later. Yeah, yeah. But but let's be honest, that was the most well-deserved choke job you ever seen in your life. Uh, but uh, but it just fell to it fell. Now I wish I had a show then. Yeah.
Where, yeah. So I'm sure you thought it was going to be a sweep when
No,
Mariano takes them. Now, be honest.
listen.
When Mariano takes them out in the ninth inning
Yeah.
with the one
Okay.
run lead, did you feel comfortable?
Now let me. Now I don't just say stuff to say stuff. I give you the honest truth, whether it sounds funny or not. Or when I joke around, I tell you I joke around. I'm just kidding or whatever. but this is the honest truth, right?
Mhm.
When that happened, of course, how you not be confident when Rivera is on the mound? But
Right.
when what's his name stole second, then that
Dave
base
Roberts.
happened, I was like, uh-oh. And let me even tell you more than that. In the same game, with Quantrill pitching and Big Poppy, who made his name in this series, and he's a legend forever.
He did.
Not only because of that, also the other, 3 more rings he won after that. When he hit that walk-off home run, and I know it was only 3 games to 1, I said, uh-oh. I did. I felt it. You have a
Wow.
feeling. You have a weird feeling
Wow.
that
Not too many Yankee fans felt
I
They
am.
felt, you know what?
I,
Okay. They're not winning tomorrow.
I mean,
I mean,
it wasn't that I didn't think they would win. I just didn't feel right. There was something in the air. I was like, uh-oh, this could be trouble. Uh-oh, this could be.
I'm
Everybody
telling
had
you
the
what it
back
was,
game.
and you probably didn't even really realize, but maybe you had heard about the what happened in the preseason, and maybe that was in the back of your head. Maybe the kid that was living on Babe Ruth's plantation getting his nose broke by Manny Ramirez's home run, and people think that I'm joking when I said that really happened.
Wow, I never really heard about that.
Right? So I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened.
Go ahead.
So
This one.
it's the preseason of it's exhibition and
Yeah.
2000. And let me tell you something.
This
This story is so bizarre
Wow.
that I can understand why people do not believe it.
Wow.
But you can go back and research it, and it
I,
is absolutely true.
wow.
So it's a preseason game with the Red Sox and the Yankees,
Okay, go ahead.
and or I don't know whether it was the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Well,
However, it was in Fenway or what have you, right? So Manny Ramirez hits a home run,
okay.
right, in exhibition.
Okay.
So there's a kid out there I guess it's left field or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
or center field. It's center field. He hits it at dead center because
yeah,
remember it's preseason in the
yeah,
summer.
yeah,
So
yeah. In the
he
spring.
hits. So the kid goes and he has a glove, whatever. He's trying to catch the home run.
Okay.
He misses. I mean, it's coming right at him. The
Hmm.
dude totally whiffs on the home run. Splash right in his face.
Ugh. That's
Breaks
bad.
his nose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Blood everywhere. Right?
Uh-huh.
The kid, I swear to you, you can look this up. The kid is eating a Babe Ruth. And not only that,
Uh-huh.
this kid, where he lives, is Babe Ruth's old land. Where he's living at is where Babe Ruth used to live.
Mm.
At that moment, I knew they would break the curse. Because
So you're saying on here at 10:11 Eastern Standard Time on the Benchwarmers podcast that back then in 2004, when you heard that happen, and even with the Yankees up 3-0, you still were thinking the same way that they were going to bring the curse.
let me tell you something. At 3-0, I said that don't matter about Babe Ruth. These boys losing again.
Okay.
But
You made that point. Okay.
I will tell you when I said
Gotcha.
they're
Back
gonna
then.
win.
Gotcha.
Yeah, back then when they won Game 5, and Kevin Millar said, if we get to Game 6, we're winning the whole thing.
No, but
And I remember him saying, I remember they had him mic'd up,
yeah, but bro,
and he's on the bench. And
no,
now remember they're in Game 5. Pedro's pitching Game 5, and Pedro got slaughtered.
you know what? It's even more iconic than that. He said that before Game 4, and
Right.
he was talking to the crowd, and he's like, "Don't, hey, they better not let us get back in the series.
Get one game. Don't let them get one game. Don't let us get one.
Blah blah blah. And if we win tonight, look out." I'm paraphrasing, but he said it before Game 4. So he's even
Wow.
more.
I didn't even know that, but
Good at
that's crazy.
Is before Game 4, down 3-0. He said that.
Wow,
Yes, that's a
that's
fact.
crazy. And
That's a fact.
and
Look it up.
but I didn't feel. I said, okay, they got one game, they're not going to get swept. Pedro was pitching to, and Pedro really didn't pitch well game 5. He gave up 4 runs, I think.
No.
Um, yeah, he really didn't pitch well for game 5. But once they got out of that and got past Pedro, I said, oh man,
But
I
here,
knew because remember, Schilling got shellacked.
yeah, Game 2 or Game 1, Game 2.
I
But
said,
here's the
I
funny
said,
part.
I said, ain't no way they're doing it to him again.
But
Because he just wanted to get back around to to having another shot.
probably, yeah, probably one of the most the most manly gutty performance I've ever seen since Michael Jordan with the flu.
Yeah, I have to give him a lot of credit.
His tendon was basically not, off his bone or whatever, his tendon behind his foot. And he pitched the game of his lifetime, but he was always a gamer. That's why, to me, should be.
But I'll tell you one thing, and then I'm gonna end on this one.
Oh.
Still was not that game. His pitch performance was great, but to me, he pitched better against the game against Clemens.
He
That
did.
game 7, he pitched better.
Oh, yeah. In 2001.
Oh my God, was that not? To me, that's the best that I can remember. To me, that's the best pitchers duel in a World Series I can remember because both of them was just answered each other. I think they both struck out the same amount of that World Series. That World Series in a whole, I believe, it ended with like almost everything identical. They scored the same amount of runs. They had like I think the Diamondbacks in all 7 games. I think it came up like everything was like within 1 or 2. They were team hits, team runs scored, team RBIs, batting average, runs scored. Everything was so close in that series. That might have been the best World Series.
It is definitely on that scale. Most people put it as number 1. Actually, the only big difference between the two teams was the team batting average. The Yankees had one of the lowest in World Series history.
That year. The team batting average.
They would have been the first team ever to have the lowest team batting average in World Series to win a championship. They were 3.
The Diamondbacks pitching staff was they had Schilling, Johnson, and even Miguel Batista wasn't garbage, and bullpen was incredible.
And let's not forget, 2 of those 4 wins they shellacked the Yankees. Game 1 and Game 6. Game 4 they just won 4-0, but Game 1 and Game 6 it wasn't close.
And if it's not for the Yankees' heroics against Yum Kim, they're probably out there in 5 games.
Yes, yeah, but that's the thing. The reason why they were still in it, they had clutch hitting, which they're not doing right now. They had clutch situational hitting. That's why they came back in the series. That's why they took those 3 games back in the Bronx, and they couldn't win in Arizona. That was their downfall. It was kind of like the Yankees in Houston. They couldn't win in Houston, back in 2017.
Incredible series. Incredible series.
And Schilling and the big unit, they deserved the co-MVP. Absolutely.
Yeah, he came in after pitching the night before.
Yeah.
Comes in. Absolutely holds the Yankees.
Yeah.
He was a hell of a pitcher, man. I kind of think he was underrated. Even with all the accolades, I think he was a little underrated.
Yeah, they still kind of do. I mean, first of all, he did that to the Yankees twice. He did it in '95 in that classic division series with the Mariners. He did the same thing. Came in the 9th or 10th inning to pitch 1 inning after he pitched the game before, and then what's his name? Hitting the walk-off Edgar Martinez, which I still see the ball going down the left field line to this day, and Griffin running like the wind going home. Griffin Jr. And then he did it again in 2001, and then when he becomes a Yankee, he did it to us again by pitching like crap in the play. So
That's
basically,
right. He did, but he did come to the Yankees.
he
Oh
did
my
like crap
God.
as far as when it was the playoffs. Now against the Red Sox, he was undefeated those 2 years. In
Red
five,
Sox. They had the Yankees. The Yankees ended up getting everybody that killed them except Chile.
yeah.
And they didn't they get. Wait a minute. Didn't the Yankees get Josh Beckett?
No, they never got judgment. No,
They never got Josh Beckett.
never got judgment. No,
Oh, they got the other dude. They got the other dude from Cleveland
they got what's
that
his name?
killed them that year. They
Yeah,
got Jarrett Wright.
no, not well. Jared, he's another one. That was a stupid. I knew that was a dumb signing. They got what was it? Crap. Because I know with Johnny Damon was a great signing. Yeah, I never thought he would do good with the Yankees. He did. But what's his name? Ellsbury. I knew that was a terrible deal. I knew that was going to be bad. And
And
Ellsbury was basically an undercover Red Sox, taking the money and
yeah,
laughing at the bank and being on
pretty
the.
much. And then what about what's his name? I'll tell you that series against the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Didn't Matt Suey hit like 600?
He well
When they lost the one when they blew a 3-0 lead. I know the first 3 games
the first three games
he was going to win the MVP.
yeah, they were all hot. They were all hot, but Matsui especially. Even A-Rod was doing pretty good. And then the next 4 games, everybody just fell to the wayside.
Went to sleep. The Red Sox put him to sleep, but
all these guys, But I
I'm
knew.
out of here.
All right, later, man. Thanks a lot for joining.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, not a problem. Anytime, man. More than welcome anytime. And there goes Heaven Hollywood into the IE Network horizon into the night. Yes, thanks to Heaven Hollywood for coming on. And thank you all. Thank you all. No nonsense. Thank you so much. Oh, what was it you did? Oh, what was the question you were trying to say? No nonsense to Heaven? The Dipset and the Locks versus. Yeah, I should have brought that up real quick. I did see that, but I forgot to ask you that. Sorry, no nonsense. Sorry about that. I love your comment. I don't know much about baseball, and you have the shoulder shrug. Emoji. Yeah, sorry about that. But he's gonna be doing a live. If you remember that question, which I know you will, especially because you're one of the moderators on his YouTube channel here, right here on the IE Network, you'll definitely bring that up to him. Or DM him that question. Sorry about that. I did see that question earlier a few minutes ago, but I forgot to bring up to it. So that's my bad. I apologize. Thank you all for listening. By the way, thank you. No nonsense. Thank you, Joseph Tanner. Thank you, everybody in the chat room. Thank you so much, and thank you all for listening and watching. I guess it's watching, right? Even though you don't see us in video, but you see our most wonderful, outstanding pictures of ourselves. I guess that's as close as you can get to the real thing, I guess. Thank you all for listening to the Benchwarmers podcast exclusively here on the IE Network. And shout out to everybody listening and watching. Without you, we are nothing, not a zero. Without you guys, thank you for all your support. Please like, subscribe, and share, or how you ever want to do it, whatever order you want to do it. You want to like, you want to subscribe, like, and share, or share, like, subscribe, or blah blah blah, whatever you want to do. That's nice. As long as you do all those 3 things, that's good for all of us. And also, if the super chat, you want to still send a super chat, you can over here on the YouTube channel. It's much appreciated. You want to give us a Cash App? Mine is Jimmy Ace Cash and Cash App. Heaven is, of course, Heaven Hollywood on a Cash App. And I think the IE Network has a Cash App too. I think it's IE Network, if I'm not mistaken. So you can do that at any time, any place, anywhere if you want to. All donations are all appreciated, of course. And even without donations, we still appreciate you, of course, all y'all. So thank you all for watching and listening. This has been worth the wait. My apologies for last week. Had a lot of things I had to take care of. And I am a very busy man, very busy man. James Brown would be proud of how busy I am, because he was the hardest working man in the show business, as you know. If you don't know that by now. So thank you all for watching and listening. For Heaven Hollywood and for our producer extraordinaire, shout out to Wes Clark out there. Thank you. And thank you all. Also, before I go, how can I forget? Make sure to not only just like, share, and subscribe, but also watch the other shows on here. We got Real Talk that comes on every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively here on the IE Network. with what the director himself, Wes Clark, as the host, and the Jedi Council. Ralph and Kev. Also with the Heaven Hollywood Experience, of course, that comes on usually on the weekends. Sometimes he's been doing a lot lately for the past couple of months, uploading these videos of what's been going on behind the scenes in entertainment with the tea and everything else in the Hollywood land or Hollyweird land, which is more accurate actually. You can look at those anytime and share that and like that and subscribe, of course. And also with Block TV with Lex, her shout out to Lex out there when she gets when she's on with the Block TV. That's an excellent show that you should all watch too. So, keep watching, keep subscribing, sharing and liking, and tell a friend and tell another friend, and then it'll be a whole lot of people, and we got more content coming your way. The more, the merrier, as we always say, and don't sleep on us. We are coming big time. Pause. So. Anyway, for Heaven Hollywood and for Wes Clark, I am, of course, the man himself, your host, James Acevedo, saying, as Dick Clark would say, so long. And we'll see you next week on here on the Benchwarmers podcast on IE Network. And as I go into the IE Network horizon, I say this to all y'all. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Be good. Don't be stupid. Treat each other with respect and love. And I say this to all y'all. Latest and tomatoes. Peace.